I'm worried a little bit for IMT that because they didn't pick up that first map, it could end here. We said it in the pregame. I was looking at that first map as the recipe for success for LG. They really could not afford to get to Bind. They have to win this 2-0, just because despite what they've done against other teams on Bind, I still look at IMT as a proficient Bind team and one that would give them serious struggles. But got to get through Ascent first, like we've been saying, and we're ready to kick things off here in the pistol. They're going to get a fast and easy A take. There is no presence whatsoever from LG. It will be a full-blown retake, 5-on-5 on the site.
Yeah, so that's what I talked about. Having now shot up as that breach, it's going to be able to set up chemicals for that flash and dash into the site. Clearing wine, clearing the site. Now post plant, but LG still gets the first blood on this second map. So Gangster falls and Thief is already on the flank. He's trying to get this kill, but it's traded off by chemicals. Still out of bullets, reloading on time for the second kill onto Moose. More action, A-Proto gets a 3K on his own, and now it's shot up in the back. Changing into the agent, good enough for a kill, but that is going to be it. Your boy Dre comes in for the defuse, and LG puts the point on the scoreboard.
Strong retake on the A site despite surrendering full site control. I'm sure that people are wondering why we're seeing so many frenzies. Well, again, this is pre-patch for the most recent patch, so the frenzy is not exactly nerfed. The stinger as well will also be strong. Now, I know the frenzy wasn't really nerfed, it just had a price change, but it does affect the way that people approach those pistol rounds, so it does change the dynamic in general.
Yeah.
This round, though, is really when you really see the impact of that old patch. The stingers will come out from both sides. The only one who's like, I want a little bit more gusto on the round is your boy Dre, who goes to the Bulldog. But we have seen a very high success rate on these second rounds coming from the team who lost the pistol, because they just end up in a one-to-one battle with their opposition. It's Stinger versus Stinger, or sometimes Spectre versus Stinger, but it seems to be working out quite nicely, and you can see some of that conversion here early on. Sure, they lose a player from that cat play, with Thief hitting some incredible shots with the Spectre, but the Stinger is also equally as powerful.
Wow.
Now, Chemicals has to switch to the sidearm and go for the leaping shot, but we're at a 3-on-3 right now, so the numbers are even, and the damage is favoring IMT. They're in a great position.
Itself. Sorry, Bach, but that battle on itself on Catwalk was just beautiful. The dismiss to hide away from Chemicals, and as Chemicals is chasing him down, you have a flash coming in from Sean up to prevent Thief from getting any trades from the tree side from his teammate moving up, and it went in a back and forth, and it still becomes a stalemate. I just love how the exchange went down.
That's the kill they needed from Shot Up. He got the first one in mid for Immortals, and now he gets a second to open up access to the B site. You've got Moose coming in. Here's the updraft. Tries to take advantage and does. It was a little sloppy, and as a result, Moose is very low on HP. Has to be careful about this target that leapt up on the sidewalk and is even dodging bullets that are coming through the wall. There's the Owl drone to give away that position. Takes out the first Nano Swarm, but the second one will get triggered before there's time. Recon Dart to go in and give away the position of one on site. Not prepared for Nature, who's back site. And this is exactly what we were talking about. The high success rate of that second round for the team who lost Pistol. And you might even see it here for the team who won Pistol, as we should see another force come in for LG with Stingers in the mix for them as well.
And the thing for Sean Up is, yes, he could set up players like Chemicals at the beginning of the round for Pistol, but that last round was him getting entries into mid site, into B site, and even getting a third kill inside that site. And I love the bait. He let himself get pinged so they could try to chase him out by default, which now leaves Nature out in the open on an off angle to get that kill onto sidewalk. Very well played here for Immortals. And not only that, you're one orb away of getting the ultimate here for Immortals' Breach, which is Sean Up. They might fight for it, they might pick it up, or it just might be an explosion, knowing that they have the opportunity here with the weaponry. So Sean Up gets another entry. He does load up the Rolling Thunder, but he gets picked off in the process. And meanwhile, the last two guys are still rotating from B main, from mid side and from defender spawn, and it's going to be a 3 versus 2 for Immortals.
So LG didn't actually go for that force that we typically see. They decided to spend a little bit less, which is somewhat surprising, but it's not entirely terrible for them right now. The ADS Spectre will net something for the side of IMT, as it's now down to the last target. It's Thief, who's who's hiding inside a dark cover, waiting for an opportunity to send a bullet to the dome of one of these players. There is a pistol in his hands and 2 targets right to his left. Did they clear this corner? No. So actually able to get 1, 2, 3! Thief punishing with the kills. The round is lost, but that is an expensive one. Goes back to pick up the Stinger and drops a couple of dimes on a dead body as well.
You want to die
Stinger
with
not
it.
really of great value because they want the rifles in the next round. This is incredible pistol work from Thief.
That is even a nice camera angle to get those 3 kills too. Well job here. Well done for the second observer. But yeah, getting those 3 kills, letting himself die so that he could actually get the max bonus here, which is going to be 2,400 instead of only 1,000 credits if he stayed alive with the weaponry, which allows him now to get Phantom. And those 2 kills, or 3 kills rather, that he had allows for him to invest into his Devours and into his Leers. So he's good looking at the utility for Thief. But this round, like I said, they have the Rolling Thunder ready. All 5 of them already set up here towards the A side. Look at that. That's going to hit all 3 of them. It's going to be an open sight now for Immortals to flash and dash into the site. Chemicals at the point. It's going to be a cloud burst towards Heaven side, and that's going to calm things up. No, check that out. It's actually Thief running through the smoke, gets the kill and dismisses away. Tries to go in for a second one, but it's traded off. Now we're just going trade after trade. It's out towards the Heaven side. Just to sum it up, it's a 1-minute advantage for LG on the retake. The spike has not been planted, yet the spike has been dropped. Now your boy Dre also drops into the site, spots the last opponent to make it a 2 versus 1 as Nature capitalizes on that kill. 1 onto the Heaven side, 1 at the dice. The crossfire is set up as Nature is dancing around the generator. He goes for the peak. He does not get the kill onto Moose, and LG ties it up 2-2.
Nature with only 7 bullets there as well had to make every single one of them count if the clutch was going to come through. That was a massive ult. The Rolling Thunder hit 4 players for IMT. You can see the last one, for LG, excuse me, the last one was Moose trying to come through from Heaven, caught the tail end of it and just got bopped up. That should have worked out so much better for Immortals. They should have been able to capitalize on that, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah.
Moose on the B site looked like he wanted to send a shock dart into B main, decides not to. Chemicals is going to pop the ult here, and they'll lead in with the Blade Storm as well. Nice paranoia coming out from Market. And that's going to be Chemicals going out over top, and they're like, yeah, that's cute and all, but we've seen that before.
Yep.
So this round just falls apart for IMT. I like the thought process and the approach, but every bit of intel was gathered from LG to prevent that from ever being a threat.
That was a pure definition of Moose and eProto playing clay pigeon shooting pretty much into that B site when Chemicals dashed into there. Like you said, they've seen it before. I feel that it was something that came into a surprise when Gen G started doing that with the dashes from Win into the site, but now it's become too common where against these ecos, that's why you don't see them playing so close, or at least on that staircase. They know that Chemicals or anybody else as a jet in the future could try to go for these fancy dashes when the when the Blade Storm is ready. And speaking about how they play this round too, we've seen this before from LG when they had the showstopper coming out towards that mid side against 100 Thieves, and at the same time the paranoia was thrown on that B main, but it does not connect. Immortals was ready for that. They held all the way back towards spawn, and now they try to fight back, but Moose with his control towards B main gets the Hunter's Fury and connection onto Shut Up.
The aggressive play from your boy Dre also doesn't cost him his life. He's somehow able to get out of tiles. He knew that one was top mid. That's why that ult went back in that direction. Good shot coming in as well, squeezing it right over top of the ledge. And that's the spike being dropped as well. Hearing that thud, knowing that it's time to lock down that position. Your boy Dre moving up now closer to tiles. They've got these players pretty much stitched into an easy spot to close out the round. Gangsta's playing inside dark cover, trying to wait for it to dissipate, catch somebody that might be trying to sneak up into it. But Gangsta should fall here momentarily. Nature by their side as well. Position given away by a recon dart, counter recon dart coming out. That'll give away your boy Dre's position, but not in this spot. Able to tuck into that corner and dodge the pulse. That results in a kill on a Nature. Gangsta's the only one left standing. Will at least execute his counterpart on the other side, so Moose will fall in the Sova v Sova battle. Gangsta's time was not long for this world. Even if he manages to find a kill in mid, he was being flanked from spawn by the Reyna. So it's LG who looked good there in yet another round. And it started with that aggressive play from your boy Dre.
Exactly. The aggressive play from your boy Dre, like I said, the combo into that B link from the showstopper on mid and the paranoid towards B main. They don't get any type of kills at the beginning, but at least they gain map control. Look how far after that your boy Dre was able to make it down towards that mid side, even past the Rosa staircase in that corner to surprise that Omen on the take here for Immortals. So that allows now LG to just control that section, pin that pinch out, and not gaining any map control for Immortals to actually try to get any type of execution. And with that, you get no kills for Immortals. You're on a save, you're on an eco, you have a couple of shares, and you're just going to try to split into this A side, where they spot the first guy here towards this A main, but they're not going to be able to capitalize on it yet because a nice paranoia came out.
Again, LG trying to stop an A-side push, but they've suffered severe casualties. The blast back right into the face of Shot Up. We'll push him back a bit, but it doesn't do the damage necessary. Shock darts coming in around the corner, and that's actually Shot Up delivering yet again. Now, the Owl drone will give away the position, but it's a stun coming in onto Moose. That makes it impossible for him to peek. Nice flash coming out as well from Shot Up. That'll allow him to get back and scoop up the spike. Now it's a one-on-one. If he can get this and then go plant elsewhere, he'll have his ult available. So we'll have Rolling Thunder available, and maybe not necessarily for this round, but it will be for a round that follows. He's going to be heading on over to the B site, forcing Moose's hand into that rotate. And you can see Moose is sticking with what he knows. This is something we've seen before. Teams are less likely to rotate off this site despite the fact that they know the spike is gone, because they have to play with what they've got, not with what they might have somewhere else. And now he's starting to realize clock is too far gone. He would have heard footsteps already. The rotate starts to come through. The position is aggressive coming in from Shot Up. He's very close. Man. He does go for the Rolling Thunder, and it does work out. It's a risky play. Very ballsy with the placement of the spike in general, but it favors IMT off the back of the hard work from Shot Up.
Like I said, he could still play that agent like a duelist so far, because even when you look at his KDA versus Genji, he didn't have that many assists. He was just on the top of the board with the frag department. So he's playing that very well for Shot Up, and to be able, like you said here, Bach, to have that awareness to say, look, I could go for this orb, I could go for the plant, I could get a Rolling Thunder. You're playing to a point where on a 1 versus 1, you know your opponent is trying to book it into the site, has a recon dart, thinking that you might be playing close towards the back of the site. So you're playing close staircase, get the positional advantage, and get the Rolling Thunder to win a 1 versus 1. A perfect way to use it, in my opinion, at that point, because he, of course, got a victory for that round. So now with this round, an ultimate going into the B site, there is no stoppage from Moose. Well, actually there is, because there's shock darts. I was going to say there's no Runner's Fury to take it, but they practice those darts. There's a reason why these guys are sitting in these servers day in and day out to be able to cancel these ults. So that also cancels the push from Immortals into the B side, where they're running into Thief, holding towards the B lane, and that's a triple kill for him.
I thought Thief might have even been able to get more out of that. The Boombot goes around the corner. They know that Nature's here. A reload comes through, tries to get time in for the battle against the Rays. Your boy Dre steps up in the absence of their Reyna, who found 3 kills on the round. Patience on the trigger pull. Even with the pulse, Nature was able to hit this shot, but this was great positioning from Thief. Thought maybe we'd see a dismiss here, but wants to go for that 4K, wants the guarantees, wants the stats, wants the glory. 11-5 for Thief, who's currently top of the scoreboard. Just beneath him is your boy Dre, the player who mopped up the rest of the kills in that last round. LG, they won the pistol, lost the anti-eco, lost the round that followed. They've only lost 1 round since then, though. They're up 5-3 currently. As again, you see Tile's presence here, and Thief wants to just get off a catwalk, realizing that there's too much firepower already in mid. So mid control gained here for IMT, at least to a certain degree. They haven't gotten past the arches, they haven't gotten to Kench Venture Market, but they've got pretty good positioning currently.
What good position is on this mid side with those shares. But for LG, you see how passively they're playing it. They're having even one player jumping back and forth, that's Moose on top of the fountain, so that they could scout it out and maybe even double wall bang it in the end. But as they leave this mid side open, because there's no trap wires set in that area, you see that A-Pro is already setting it towards that sidewalk and also towards the staircase. They want to leave it open. They have one player playing towards the spawn, and that's going to be Stellar to spot it. But well done here for Immortals to smoke that out and allow for this mid to be split. thing is, though, Recon Dart's going to come back onto the B main, and it's still going to be a Proto that gets dropped by Chemicals rushing into the site. So now with only one player alive, waiting for his teammates to come across, that's Moose. They're all up and cuddled up here towards his defender spawn side as his spike gets planted towards an open B site, and a retake attempt is coming out.
There's the ult being popped, the rocket. Oh, somehow he came back out around the corner. So the rocket actually does damage to the target that was on sidewalk. An unintentional kill, but it works out quite nicely. Somehow that rocket works, and it makes things a little bit more palatable. Still, though, it's IMT that comes out on top of the post-plant scenario in B, but look at where this rocket landed.
I was going to say, I see you scratching his head because he's behind the wall.
He's on the other side. I thought he came out from sidewalk.
Look at this.
It just kills him on the other side. Did it hit? It must have hit the top of the wall enough. I want to see where that rocket went. No, it's like the middle of the wall. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. But it worked. It worked for at least the 2 kills with the showstopper, but it also worked for Immortals to be able to win and secure that round with the shares that they had. So on an eco, on a rush to surprise attack, LG on the defense, and also having the perfect placement of the smokes to not allow LG to help out a Proto on that rush into the B side, allow them to get that round. So 5-4, 4 rounds on the attack. You're still pretty happy here for Immortals. Now Thief looking to potentially die as he's getting pinged and pulsated by one at least pulse of the Hunter's Fury, and as he goes for the Leer, the rifle missed actually from Chemicals and he dashes away. So somehow, this is the second time that Thief in that corner is able to survive so luckily, and he manages to now finally make it back into tree. But in the process, you have one player that died for either side into this mid side for LG and Immortals.
A little scrappy in the early round. Still got a player playing on B. A Proto has a high cam to just get some intel. All he has to do is sit on this cam to try to spot them out. They can't see his position coming through as he's in Boathouse currently. And he'll be able to ping one. Nope, he actually just fires a dart. Thought we might see just the cam pings calling out numbers. He's going to get some backup from Moose, who's going to send in a recon dart. That'll give away their positions as they try to make their way up sidewalk. Moose actually with a wall bang on the Gangsta. And now it's a Proto backside who comes up empty-handed, despite all of that time to sit in position and anchor down the site. Not able to do so. The Nano Swarm does cut off the sidewalk rotate momentarily. And look at the threat currently hiding inside this smoke. It's Chemicals with the knives out, waiting to right-click a target. Should they come through, there's one dancing on the other side of it. It's Thief. It's just a matter of time as these two face off again. It's a game of chicken, and ultimately it's Chemicals to bail first, but his team is stepping up around him. They don't even need the knives. It's JC, Stani, and Nature to bring us to tie point.
I think Immortals finally starting to step up here in this game, Bach. It looked like LG was going to run away with it when they had that control towards mid-side a few rounds ago with that combo, the Showstopper and Paranoia, like I mentioned before. But somehow, just off that clutch that shot up head at some point with that Sheriff and that 1 versus 1 versus Moose, it allowed for Immortals to gain that momentum back and gain the the calmness to be able to come back into this game to make it a 5-on-5 scoreline. Now into this round, though, we do have some sort of a mid-control to start things off. We did have a smoke towards Catwalk, so you have a double peek coming in from Link and also towards back mid for Immortals. Now the Owl Drone trying to clear out that camera. They're going to shoot it out at the same time. So very well done here for a Proto to not allow for any information to be gathered from the Owl Drone towards that B main. But meanwhile, we see one falling, one pushing forward. That's Thief also dying at Gelato, courtesy of Chemicals. 2 on the board for him. As now Immortals, sensing that it's a weaker site towards the A side, they book it as a 5-man bio ball.
Stellar is still in position on Heaven. You gotta go for that peek, I guess. Yeah. Goes for the swing out from the boxes. Only able to get one as they start to transgress onto the server. You only got one left standing. It's Moose, who's on the other side of dark cover that's fading. A strong round from Immortals, who's trying to put an exclamation point at the end of this first half with a nice little sprint of rounds to give them control of the scoreboard. 6-5 they're currently up, and if we take a look at the scoreboard here, we'll see where the credits sit at. I'm kind of curious how much money they've got at their disposal. We'll see a full buy come through. Thief has 6,000. Even has enough to maybe consider an AWP purchase, but doesn't decide to. Just wants to go with the rifles. That's actually something we talked about, right?
Yeah.
We didn't really see a whole lot of AWP play from Chemicals on this map. And with Thief switching to Reyna and not playing the Jet, it's something we're not going to see from them either. A 5-rifle setup is standard for both teams.
And that's the thing, and that's something that LG also really doesn't do much, is to have a Jet into any maps but basically Icebox, and not really bring any of the operators on the defender side besides that map, as I just mentioned. So they really go with the rifles. They try to go for that trade setup, as I mentioned, all the time. And it works out in their favor. But Immortals, having, again, Shot Up playing as that breach is helping Immortals a lot. Getting these entries, getting the site control into the B side. And speaking about site control, it is going to be an ultimate Killjoy into B entrance. And this time the shot guards do not connect because he places it at a different position. That allows now Nature to come in and get the kill onto your boy Dre. Nano Swarm towards that front. Oh, he bounces off the wall, so it misses. Paranoia, but at least as a Swarm Grenade comes out, it doesn't allow the defenders of LG to push through that spawn site. So that's time wasted, courtesy of Nature and the plant coming in for Immortals.
Immortals, now with just one target standing in their way, 7-5. The half in favor of IMT. As we throw things to a very quick break, we'll be jumping into that second half momentarily to see if they can continue in that fashion and force us to that third map or not. Stay tuned. And we are back. You may have heard us talking there for a moment as we were talking about that rocket yet again. It was so perplexing. The rocket in that first half that went around the wall, it definitely kind of stunned our brains for a second. Couldn't help but talk about it, but we've got a second half to focus on here, Vansili, and it is LG who is down 7-5 currently. Now, in comparison to the last time these two teams matched, identical scoreline. LG was on the defense. They hit 7 rounds on the defense, 5 for their opposition, though, so it was a little bit different. They had the advantage. And now it's IMT who's in that position. Nice flash coming out from Shot Up to open things up. A follow-up as well. Those breach flashes so incredibly strong, but not strong enough. As LG now has control of the site, but you haven't gotten out across and they haven't gotten the spike planted yet.
And the thing is, he's setting himself up with these flashes and is still able to get the kill. So that was one to fall early into the round. That was Thief. As now, your boy Dre, as we're moving back into the site for Immortals. Couple of ghosts, actually, from Gangsta that's able to drop 2. But it's still going to be Immortals on the retake that's going to be a little bit stronger. You see the change of pace of how they both attacked on that A site for both LG and Immortals. Immortals on the first half, they had the flash and dash, courtesy of Shut Up and Chemicals to move into the site. This time for LG, as they don't have a breach, they don't have a jet, they go for the Paranoia down towards the generator. They have the smoke into the cross. And what really helped LG on that pulse plant to make sure nobody runs through the smoke is the first person that makes it through the generator after it's flashed, he's watching that doorway with Moose so that they could actually crossfire and not allow anybody from Immortals to run through. But after the plan was shambled by Shot Up with a single flash and a setup for the kill, now they had to focus back towards Heaven, and that was the window opening to allow Immortals to move inside the site and dominate LG on a retake. So they take the lead by 3 this time by winning the pistol and looking to put a 9th on the board as they had the weapons advantage. Actually, it's Stingers versus Stingers. We have the force up now.
Not entirely surprised to see it. We've talked about it before. Again, this is prior to the most recent patch that did see the Stinger get a little bit of a hefty nerf. We will find ourselves at 3-on-3. Nice shock dart coming through, but I think they actually dodged the damage, getting just outside of the radius of that lightning blast. Gangsta's going to see them coming through on long. They know he's around the corner. Still able to stick in this position. Switches to the sidearm. Doesn't really stand a chance against the Stinger at that distance. Now, they've got the spike, and they know that the positions of these 2 remaining players are where they're at. Now, the interesting thing is they don't go for that orb grab, despite having full control of that. They know that these remaining 2 should be coming in. They're keeping the Killjoy close enough to the turret so that the turret will still remain active. So if they do try to take this A site, they should be spotted out by that. And with low HP,
30
unless they go tree. If they go tree, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, this could be bad here. A Proto could potentially drop to this if he goes for the peek on the site. It looks like they're just going to stick behind this one. They hear the turret in position. He does actually take a few shots, down to 7 HP, so it cuts his few remaining hit points in half.
I have retrieved
And they're
the
going to
spike.
toss the spike over to him
10
for him to
seconds left.
stick that spike, because he's got a little bit more help coming from the person covering with full HP. As he dodges the blast coming out through the wall, the flash will come through that allows shot up onto the site. There's no surprise there. And it's down to the last remaining player. It's your boy Trey from inside hell, able to survive long enough to find both remaining targets. LG fire back and respond with the stinger buy.
It is so rare that I see like a... It was close to a Spree transfer there because he did stop shooting between both opponents, but hearing and knowing that Nature was coming around the corner and still able to land that second one to get the headshot. Thankfully, it's close range too, so the amount of bullets left into the clip was good enough to damage his second player, but well done for LG on that force buy, as well as starting things off with that entry on that tree side to really keep Immortals guessing on the rotations of what was going to happen. So great display of patience for LG, great 2 versus 2, and great communication to also make the person that's low on HP to go for the plant instead, and he went for a safe plant, and it just played individually and played for themselves. So very well done for your boy Dre to clutch that 2 versus 1, and to make it 8-6, putting Immortals now on an eco. And on this eco, they actually left the A side open. They really didn't want it to focus a lot onto this B side, the mid side, and potentially maybe even an Aldrone or a recon dart that's going to come out towards tree, and they're going to try to pinch out towards this mid side in the end.
So the thing is, too, at that distance, the Stinger only does 67 damage for a headshot.
Yep.
So it's 134 for 2 consecutive shots. So if that player had full body armor and head armor, it would actually take 3 headshots, which I believe we saw. So it kind of illustrates just the fact that they're that close doesn't make it necessarily easy. We'll see the turret come down from Nature on the other side of the door. It's creative placement that gets it out in front of the door to at least help slow down and change positions here. Thief is going to get one through a dart cover. Compliments of a recon dart that gave away the position, and now Thief just wants to go for the peek on this. Nice cloud burst to at least give them an opportunity to dive into the site, but it is a flawless round coming in from LG, following up off the back of what was that second round. Now, this is exactly what Immortals did to them in the first half. LG won pistol, then lost the 2 rounds after, and then they came into the next round and bought. We'll see if IMT is going to have what they need to actually do that. They do have a really strong buy coming in comparison to what LG is going to be fielding.
You saw there that Thief is really hunting down to try to get those kills, and unfortunately it was just held back by a Proto and Moose on the post plant, which is good enough. You know, you care for the kills, but you also care for the victory. Putting 1 point away, an aggressive peek from a recon dart, and now also pulsating out with the Hunter's Fury to allow 2 players to push at the same time, but after the one-way, it's going to calm down right after that. They just didn't want to commit any further because the other pings coming out from the Hunter's Fury did not connect with any pings or any kills. So we're trying to fight it back. We're really trying to get this A main control, and that's actually 3 more players of LG trying to push them back. They managed to do so, but we'll see if they want to capitalize later on a split into this A side. I like that.
Great. I like what they did in general to kick this round off. You know, you saw the double peek on long in conjunction with Hunter's Fury. They're going to be worried about those pulses coming through the wall, and they're going to be distracted, so they go for the double swing. They get full long control out of it. It's a nice start to the round. It didn't net maybe as much as Immortals was hoping for. They're hoping that there's 2 to 3 targets there, and they can peek and just punish. But it doesn't work out that way, and in the end, they've still got control, so it's okay. The 5-on-3, there's 2 targets trying to work up Cat, 2 targets playing defense in that territory. Nice shots coming in from your boy Dre with the Bulldog. You can hear the double tap to the skull of JC Stanny. And they're trying to move into position here. The reload comes through at the worst possible time as Shot Up goes for the swing off of that flashpoint. 9-7, Immortals literally copying that first part of the first half. They win the pistol, lose the 2 rounds after, win the buy that comes in. That's exactly what LG did in the first half, losing the second and third round, winning the fourth in the pistol.
Yeah, that's one of those small things. I think when that gun was picked up there by your boy Dre, and he spotted his opponent on the A side first. He had 10 bullets shot to, he had 8, and he thought that he was going to be too low and was safe to reload, but those 8 bullets definitely would have been enough to fight against that face-to-face battle of Shut Up that once again sets himself up. A self-flash from the peek out and even get a double kill on top of that. it's going to make things difficult here if you have a player like Shut Up continuously playing towards his tree side, towards his mid side, to fight against him when he's able to aim the way that he does. On top of that, he has a Rolling Thunder into this round. So if you do have some sort of heavy aggression towards his mid to be split, there's that Rolling Thunder that's going to stop them.
Both being popped and ultimately canceled. There's Hunter's Furies coming out as well as a showstopper, Rolling Thunder, everything being spent in this round, and it's favoring LG currently. They've got a 5-on-3. Gangsta looking to spot if a player is inside that smoke or not. They aren't. It'll be a 5-on-3, and they've still got Empress and Neural Theft available. Thief with a great shot and a dismiss as well. That's a punishing blow because it looked like at that point Immortals had already made up their minds they were going to save. So every body they can take is of the utmost importance, especially when you drop 3 on the round compared to just 2, because that lopsides the ability to drop weapons for your teammates. Gangsta in Garden right now, sitting up on top of the box. Your boy Dre is just hitting everything necessary, and as Chemicals gets around the corner, he literally splits his targets like field goal posts, and it's right through the uprights. It's 9-8, the score staying close.
You see that showstopper and that Rolling Thunder that came right away, but unfortunately, the timing on the Rolling Thunder and the satchel charges moving forward, you see how it barely missed your boy Dre moving into the site, and that was the biggest kill to allow them to get that round. And you see right away after that pulse plant on a 5 versus 3, kind of like any other tactical that you're trying to play, it's like, well, it's so hard to retake a site when there's a full roster still alive and you're at a disadvantage into numbers. But I even like it more for LG that they hunted them down. They wanted to go for these kills. They want to make sure that Immortals is going to be on the lowest bias possible into this round. So we see a couple of Stingers, a couple of Sheriffs, and this is a potential to tie things up again. So we're wondering if it's going to be a one-sided map for Immortals as they look so good versus LG in the past. And the last time that they played versus LG, they actually lost 7-13. So to see this now at 9-8 in favor of the Immortals, you're just happy as the series overall has been so close in the 2 first maps so far.
LG looking for an opening on A. Very passive play currently. It looks like they're setting up for an explode trap with Chemicals on high. They've got double flash capability. The knives come out, but the Leer is what's going to force Chemicals out of position. The flashpoint from Shot Up combined with the paranoia does at least produce some results here for IMT. And Shot Up's getting ready to drop that aftershock down as well to try and keep them away. Now the spike is going to get scooped up. Oh, look at the setup. There's the flash coming through. That's going to blind the Cypher. JC Stani can't quite escape into the smoke. So again, scrappy early round play style. Both teams suffering casualties as a result.
30 seconds left.
But the spike is still in control of LG, and they are booking it, heading over to the B site.
I still like it for Immortals at this point. Just hold your grounds. Even then, when you hear the spike plan, you can even move down for the second player to try to move up and get that weapon, which is going to be Gangsta. So he picks up here a Stinger, can maybe upgrade into something more towards the A main if he wanted to, but they decide to both fall back and try to take back this B side instead. So they have the fault line that has been regenerated here for their breach. Shut Up also still has a flash, if I'm not mistaken. Well, we have the recon dart that should be available fairly soon. If not, you see it up already. But Thief is in a great position outside this B main. His teammate is just around the corner on the sidewalk, so they have a perfect crossfire for any type of double peek that they want to do towards this side. And Thief he says, I don't need your help. I got this. 2 taps in the face, Shut Up and Gangsta falls, and we're tied up 9-9.
Thief just so incredibly good in these scenarios. Plays this angle and just a quick 5 bullets coming out to get these last couple of kills. You can see he makes it look almost easy. Just a quick bop onto the last 2 targets. 9-9, all tied up. We do have the full buy coming in. Finally gonna see that op. This is the first round. We're in round 19, mind you, and we're finally seeing an op purchase. It's not all that uncommon, and it's very similar to the time that these 2 teams played against each other in the first closed qualifier in Challengers 1. So not shocked or surprised at all to see that be the case here. And it nets early success for Chemicals, who hits a great shot onto the first target. The Lear's going to push him back, but they can't get to the switch to try and shut that door. So he's still a looming threat, and that is going to show itself right there. Great shots coming out. Spots one going down the stairs, even though he misses. The close target, he's going to get that one too. Flashed and jumping with a classic. It's just what Chemicals does best. 4K on the round, survives with 5 HP, but a solid stop off the back of the op purchase.
Yeah, and a little bit more questionable on the body peek, too, from your boy Dre. When you still have Stellar alive, even when he made it into the site, I didn't see any type of flashes going into that market, which then allows Chemicals to get that 4K that he wants to be on top of the scoreboard when shot up now. So I feel that there was a little bit of a off timing on how they wanted to run into the site for LG, or what the focus was exactly. Is it going to be like, hey, let's just body peek and try to fight into market and surprise potentially shot up that usually plays there? But positioning Chemicals on different areas of the map on different rounds, whether it be towards that mid side, whether it was towards B main, this time it's towards A main, which is something that was actually pretty potent for Immortals versus Gen G. Where now that Chemicals has the operator, he kind of keeps them guessing right now for Gen G. He could potentially do the same thing right now for LG and try to help Immortals move this into the third map. But LG on the other end this time for this round decides to avoid the A side. They gamble up towards B, so they're not going to come into the opposition of the operator from Chemicals, and they're going to walk back towards the B side. But look at the amount of utility that's set up now for Nature at that B main. The Owl drone could potentially spot Reyna. No, it's not going to spot him, so Thief is going to be able to be okay, and we'll see if his execution is going to be stopped now by the utility.
Drone flies in looking for that intel. Not going to spot anything just yet. There's one player playing on site, currently just waiting for them to get onto the site, but they're not there just yet. Hunter's Fury coming through. Oh, that nade could be huge. The Boombot is well behind it, but they actually managed to dodge a significant portion of that damage, and the Hunter's Fury isn't as on point as one would have expected. They've also got this player kind of stitched into the corner inside the switch house. And despite everything, Immortals is holding on quite well here. It's down to Thief, who's got the ult pop, the heals coming through. Dismissed to get across. Oh, I love it. But with 13 seconds left, really has to make up ground here. Knows there's one more on the site. Spots them out as well. Running out of time. Has to take the battle. Has to reload. It's not going to work out so well. IMT find round number 11 off an impressive stop on the B site. Despite everything they sent towards spawn, they somehow didn't find a single one of those kills with the nade, the Boombot, or the Hunter's Fury.
And it was still very patient, at least, for Immortals, because after all that and everybody was safe, they didn't really want to try to push back into the site right away. Reason why is because of where your boy Dre was at, and because of the Hunter's Fury, nobody was paying attention to a Proto, and he actually was able to walk up all the way to the staircase where he could potentially trade out his teammates, if your boy Dre died towards Switch. Meanwhile, we also had a flanker towards spawn side. Immortals said, look, they're going to try to push us back because they know we have 3 players towards spawn, so they wait for the pushes, they get those kills, and now they eagerly force LG to come out and gain that map control towards that site because nobody made it towards the back of the site yet while Nature was still hanging out there. So very well done for Immortals on that hold, despite them giving all that map control. Now LG's in the lead by 2. The Boombot has been cancelled, where we still have a great position from Gangsta at the entrance of the A side. But then for Immortals for LG, after the execution there and the utility that was spent, they decide to fall back towards the mid control and catwalk.
JC Stoney just jiggle peeking on this position. The dart's going to give away his position. That's going to force him out of the spot, but they still have the flash. Double flash, actually. Nice nade to go in. That cuts off shot up from his teammate. But it's actually Moose that hits a brutal shot onto Chemicals. That's the op now taken away. Again, remember, that was really important to them on that B side stop previously. And speaking of the B site, it's empty.
30 seconds
so they've got
left.
full access to B. They're clearing everything out. Moose does end up dropping on the backside of the play, but it will be a 4-on-4 retake. Now, they do have lockdown. Depending on where they decide to put this, there's opportunity here, especially with Moose out, because they won't have those shock darts to help take it out of play. There's a nice flash coming in from Shot Up. He's been doing it all game, but he will drop early, and it's down to a 2-on-2 yet again. And one of those players is on a long flank coming through from spawn. Nice blast pack to get your boy Dre out of that position. They know where this spike is, and it's planted open for your boy Dre. He's just jumping currently, clearing out that target, and it's actually a brilliant double peek as well. You see JC Stani take his aim towards the player's stairs, and in that time, your boy Dre comes up sidewalk. It's a rough round. Only one player survives, but it's a win for LG nonetheless. But look what it does to the money. Both teams are in a bad spot economically.
And you mentioned it when you mentioned, sorry, that Nature had his lockdown getting ready for the retake. They recognized that for LG. At the pulse plant, everybody pushed up towards the staircase and also towards sidewalk to go towards market. And that recon dart pinged one. The flash was perfect there for shot up. But in the end, because they were so aggressive for LG, they managed to regain control of the market side, and even on top of that, kill Nature, which made things very difficult for the retake coming back into the site for Immortals. So well done for LG. But look at this round. 5 ultimates ready here for Immortals. So you have the Hunter's Fury that could actually stop any type of plans that might happen towards the site. He might go for a ping and a pulse towards the main. There's just a lot of utility being that's available for Immortals to actually secure the tie point in the second map for this defender side now.
Curious to see. I didn't get a chance to look what the buy actually looked like for both teams, but I can't imagine it's going to be
you saw
awesome.
Bulldog Stingers and such, pretty
Stingers, low. So it's not going to be fantastic. So you'll probably see that Jet ult saved for the round that follows if IMT is unsuccessful here. Even if IMT wins the round, you still might see it where Chemicals drops a weapon and rocks that ult. But Chemicals does have the op here. Uh-oh, picked off potentially? No, nice tailwind to get away. The rocket does damage, but not much. Dropping him down to 86, going for the peak. There's a Leer in the way. But it's Gangsta again with that ult, who's gonna get two.
There you go.
A strong conversion off Hunter's Fury. You mentioned that being at their disposal. They've got the spike down too. That's a problem. There's 10 seconds left. They need to jump up, grab that spike, and go for the plant. And Chemicals is already in position, trying to get onto the site to deny it. So now it's all up to your boy Dre. In this position, throws the nade down. Chemicals delivers with the shot before it can detonate. 4 players survive for IMT, a very strong round. They do use some ults, but not nearly as much as they had at their availability. They grab round number 12, and LG now has their backs heavily against the wall.
Point.
Exactly. We talk about, and you talked about Gangsta as well, where people maybe don't praise him enough, but he's like the triple-double right now. 14, 16, 11 in the map, but also he's one of those players as a Sova that I find is kind of like Hiko when he's throwing those Hunter's Fury. He's good for one, and he's usually good for one, and oftenly does get 2 kills with the Hunter's Fury as well. So utilizing 2 right now to be able to secure the tie at least in a second map, but now having 2 of the best ultimates for retakes at your disposal with 2 rounds in hand on the defender side, it's looking like the chances are going to be for Immortals to bring this into a third map. Now, LG, though, they've been in the same situation on the first map, and we talk about their tenacity. They still have what it takes here to try to bring this into overtime if they can again.
One of the problems for them over the last couple of rounds has been Chemicals with the op. We talked about it before. LG does not have a strong op presence, and while Chemicals will frequently go to a rifle over an op, definitely has a bit of a one-up here over LG in favor of IMT, especially on this map where you don't have Thief on Jet. You've got Thief playing Reyna, so kind of less of an op presence there, as the Reyna need to have a rifle in the hand, especially with Empress. That ult is so much more powerful, obviously, when the rifle rate gets increased. They're trying to take tree room control, and they do convert on the first kill. They gain control, but now they have to worry about this. The Killjoy ult, lockdown coming through. They're going to rely on Moose. Does he have the lineups? Because I have a feeling we're going to see everything thrown. You can see the lockdown being dropped on Lamps. You've also got the Rolling Thunder coming through, and they already used the Shock Darts. Heaven, 1 HP remaining for that target in Heaven.
Oh my god.
The lockdown is canceled, and it's just chaos on the site as the retake is trying to come through, but they're getting aggressive. Shot up with 1 HP. Still manages to get at least 1 kill coming through from Tree Room, but look how much time has expired. Look how much they used on this as well. The final kill from your boy Dre. That is a huge round for LG, because IMT threw everything they could at that site to stop that, and they still could not.
Yeah. And it was everything to actually go for that retake, right? It was so powerful, and I even think the Rolling Thunder hit a couple of guys, but it came down to that lurk that you had from a Proto on that tree side, not checking on the right. He gets that kill with the Sheriff, of course, of all guns. You're not surprised, but they're still able to break down the lockdown, which then nullifies the Rolling Thunder that was thrown towards Heaven side. I was surprised by that too. I thought it would just be a lockdown for this round. If it fails, then at least they have the Rolling Thunder for this round here to secure the win. But they really just wanted to secure that that victory right away. That didn't pay off. And now it's going to be no ultimates left here for Immortals. While here, for the LG side, they have that Hunter's Fury that's ready for Moose. And as they're lingering back towards his mid side, I wouldn't be surprised if you go for this pick for the Hunter's Fury inside tree and to try to split into the A side here.
They found success by entering into tree last round. What does Chemicals have currently in Heaven? That's the question. You can see Chemicals playing actually up on top of the box. It's a ballsy position. Will Chemicals be able to connect on this first shot and then get out of dodge quickly? You know he's relying on that tailwind. There's the recon dart. They're not going to see his position. Oh, the flash, the leer. So perfect, so flawlessly executed onto the site for LG. They're still trying to gain site control, but they've managed to make it out, and they've got everything they need set up in the post plant. Shock darts slowing down the push coming in from Heaven. JC Stunny now pushed forward while Shot Up's pushed back as the nade land between them, splitting them like the Red Sea. They're going to try and get back into this site off the back of this aftershock, and there's a nice fat paranoia coming through as well. You've still got players in hell, but the player hell falls, and like that, it comes down to now one. It's all up to Moose. Moose has to save the day. Recon Dart's going to give away the position. They're going to start tapping on the spike. Moose has to win this battle, and no! IMT puts their foot down and says, enough is enough. We are going to map 3 with a 1-1 score.
What a beautiful retake in the end there.